told me, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum, a newborn king to see, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum. Our finest gifts we bring, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum.
The heavens are telling the glory of God, and all creation is shouting for joy. Come dance in the forest, come play in the field, and sing, sing to the glory of the Lord. Praise for the sun, the bringer of day. He carries the light of the Lord in his grace. The moon and the stars light up the way unto your throne. The heavens are telling the glory of God, and all creation is shouting for joy. Come dance in the forest, come play in the field, and sing, sing to the glory of the Lord. Praise for the wind that blows through the trees, the sea's mighty storms, the gentlest breeze. They blow where they will, they blow where they please, to please the Lord. The heavens are telling the glory of God, and all creation is shouting for joy. Come dance in the forest, come play in the field, and sing, sing to the glory of the Lord. Praise for the rain that waters our fields and blesses our crops, so all the earth yields. From death into life, her mystery revealed, springs forth in joy. The heavens are telling the glory of God, and all creation is shouting for joy. Come dance in the forest, come play in the field, and sing, sing to the glory of the Lord. Praise for the earth who makes life to grow, the creatures you made to let your light show, the flowers and the trees that help us to know the heart of God. The heavens are telling the glory of God, and all creation is shouting for joy. Come dance in the forest, come play in the field, and sing, sing to the glory of the Lord. Sing, sing to the glory of the Lord.
Good morning and welcome to St. Francis in the Foothills. It is good to have you here today. You might notice I'm not where I usually stand, but I wanted you to see this amazing tree behind me. Thank you to David and Don for putting that together, mostly Don. He did a good job making this gorgeous for us and an inviting place. Because remember that every day, Monday through Thursday, you can come up here between 10 and 1 o'clock to be able to just be in this celebration space and sing or just be meditative or whatever you need. Come and be part of this. I'm also standing here to remind you that your job, just like Don, is to decorate. We have several places where people have taken a bush and put on some ornaments or some lights. My little orphan bush, somebody put a string of lights around it this week. If you would like to come decorate our campus, please come do it and make this place a space of retreat and of Christmas joy for everyone. This Saturday coming up, John Wilson would like for you to know that Tihan is continuing to collect supplies. He will be here on Saturday morning. Speaking of Saturday morning, you know, Margie is there every single week with her with her team that's bringing supplies over to Casa Maria. And so first of all, thank you to them for doing that. But I also wanted to hold up Margie because she just finished her husband Paul's book. And so if you would like to read it, I invite you to contact her and do that. I want to invite you to several other events that are happening as well. We have our weekly devotional services that are happening on Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. They are on Zoom, and the link will be in your on our website. Go and find that and click on it. Melissa will also send out an invitation where you can just click that from email. But come and be with us. It'll be about a 15 to 20 minute long service, and then there will be time just to talk and be with each other. On the 20th, we will be having a longest night service. This year, maybe more than any year, has been a difficult year, a challenging year, and there are many things where we will mourn. And it's not so much of a service as a time for you to be here and to think about that. We will have several stations set up throughout the campus, and you are invited to come and at your own leisure go to whichever stations seem to speak to you and be able to express and hopefully be able to deal with some of that struggle that is in your soul because of this year or because of life in general. Also, I want to tell you about something amazing that the celebration team is going to try to do. We think it'll be easy, we think we'll do well, but we invite you to be part of it. On Christmas Eve, when usually we're together and we have a great celebration, we'll be separated, we'll be distanced from each other, but we wanted to somehow bring together that sense of coming together. And so we're going to have a live event that day. It'll be on Zoom, and you are invited to be there. It'll be at 7 o'clock on Christmas Eve, and in that time, we will be able to have some moments with each other and see each other's face and hear each other's voices. And so come and join us on Christmas Eve. Those are all the announcements I have. Let's listen to Maya Angelou's poem.
A portion of the poem, A Brave and Startling Truth by Maya Angelou. When we come to it, we, this people on this minuscule and kithless globe, who reach daily for the bomb, the blade, and the dagger, yet who petition in the dark for tokens of peace. We, this people on this mote of matter, in whose mouths abide cantankerous words, which challenge our very existence, yet out of those same mouths come songs of such exquisite sweetness that the heart falters in its labor, and the body is quieted into awe. We, this people on this small and drifting planet, whose hands can strike with such abandon that in a twinkling life is sapped from the living, yet those same hands can touch with such healing, irresistible tenderness that the haughty neck is happy to bow and the proud back is glad to bend. Out of such chaos, of such contradiction, we learn that we are neither devils nor divines when we come to it. We, this people on this wayward floating body, created on this earth, of this earth, have the power to fashion for this earth a climate where every man and every woman can live freely without sanctimonious pity, without crippling fear when we come to it. We must confess that we are possible. We are the miraculous, the true wonder of this world, and that is when and only when we come to it.
Street child, beat child, no place left to go. Hurt child, used child, no one wants to know. This year, let the day arrive when Christmas comes for everyone, everyone alive.
Peace by Pema Chodron. If we want there to be peace in the world, we have to be brave enough to soften what is rigid in our hearts, to find the soft space and stay with it. We have to have that kind of courage and take that kind of responsibility. That's the true practice of peace.
Lavandería Plático de la Paz. Si queremos que haya una del mundo, tenemos que ser suficientemente mandables para aprender lo que es brillo a estos corazones, para encontrar especial banda y permanecer con él. Tenemos que tener un valor y asumir este tipo de responsabilidad. Esta es la verdadera plática de la paz.
Come, they told me, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum, a newborn king to see, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum. Our finest gifts we bring, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum, to lay before the king, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum, rum-pa-pum-pum, rum-pa-pum-pum. Come, peace on earth, can it be? Years run down to see, perhaps they'll see. Our finest gifts we bring of glory, to lay before the King, when men of goodwill live in peace again. So peace to honor him, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum, can it be? Every child must be made aware. Every child must be made to care. Care enough for his fellow man, to give all the love that she can. I pray no gifts to bring will come true. For my poor boy too, and your child too. They'll see the day of glory. I'll see the day when men of goodwill live in peace again. So peace to honor him, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum, can it be? Can it be?
Good morning, friends. Once again, you are invited to imagine with me the presence of one of God's creatures that may have been there for Jesus' birth. This is Shlama, the dove. Her name means peace, which is something people have yearned for all through history. The Bible mentions doves as acceptable offerings to God. And in the Noah story, a dove was sent out from the ark to see if there was dry land where all beings could safely live again. When the dove returned with an olive branch in its beak, the people and animals rejoiced to know they could disembark. People today sometimes release white doves to celebrate or commemorate special occasions. The dove is often referred to as a symbol of God's Holy Spirit. And at Jesus' baptism, we're told the dove descended on him to bless him. There may have been a flock of doves that traveled along with Mary and Joseph as they traveled their way from Nazareth to Bethlehem. The doves could have settled in trees or cliffs when they stopped to rest. The flutter of wings and graceful flight would add beauty and optimism to that long trip. And I'm pretty sure there were doves in the stable in Bethlehem. Their soft cooing from the rafters would be soothing and comforting to Mary as she gave birth to Jesus. We here in the desert seldom see pure white doves around us, but we have a wealth of soft gray mourning doves to remind us of the gift of God's peace. They are not necessarily beautiful birds to some people, but they are determined and persistent and patient. Just as in Bible times, we are living in days of sadness and tension and unrest. Nothing is as it used to be, and we're learning new ways to be God's children in these circumstances. It helps to remember the message of the dove, Shlama. We will return to a safer, more peaceful place in God's time. I pray for you to have the peace that passes understanding in your hearts, always, and especially today. Peace and love to each of you from Shlama and me. Love you guys. Bye.
Spirit, above
Good morning. Wasn't that marvelous to hear the choir singing from their cars? Cynthia has been doing an amazing job doing this drive-in choir and bringing them together. And this Thursday in particular, it was a chilly, chilly evening, and yet still they were together. And what they gave to us, that breath of the Spirit that they sang into our lives, as they have always sung that into our lives. We are so thankful, Cynthia, and to you, the choir. Those types of people who sing into our lives are really essential for us, important to us, and we want to celebrate them. Behind me you see our angel wall. Our angel wall is your job to fill in. I put in a couple of my angels from this last year, a couple of people who might be your angels as well, but over this shoulder you'll see that somebody brought a picture of Robbie Dick, who has certainly been a powerful angel in our community. Along behind her is Elizabeth Fimbres, who is also one of my personal angels, as she has helped me to discover and become who I am as your pastor. Who is it that's been your angels? Who has blessed you? Maybe somebody here at the church, maybe someone in your family, in your community, in the larger world. Who is it that has blessed you and helped you to discover the God within you and the God around you? If you will, in some way or another, make a representation of that person and place it on this wall. We'll actually put it up there if you would like us to. If you'll do that for us, we can make this wall full of those wonderful voices that have been in our lives. I want to talk to you specifically about some of our angels that you have paid for in the past, and I want to ask you to give a special gift. This year we had to, because of COVID, we had to furlough many of our employees. Many of them have still been helping in various ways throughout this church. Joe, Cynthia, Karen, all have continued to be part of this community. And I ask you if you would be willing to give them a Christmas gift. Our extended facilities staff has continued to help and be part of and clean up and take care of. Sheena has done a marvelous job, continued to be part of our kids' lives. But we haven't been able to pay them, so I wonder if you will help give them a gift for this Christmas season. In addition, the two employees that we continue to have, and that is Steve and Melissa, they have been working hard to continue to keep this church moving and doing the things that it does. would you consider giving a gift that will go to those employees? I will not receive any of it. You pay me wonderfully well to be able to do my job. I would love for you, though, to be able to give a gift to those employees. If you can do that, send it to the church, mark it a Christmas gift for the employees. Paula Van Ness will be collecting that as our finance chair, and she will get that to the employees. Thank you so much for being angels in this church and for honoring those angels who help make this church wonderful.
May the shining splendor of the star tonight spill into your darkness, fill you with its light, light that seeks the shadows of every sheltered heart, reaching every corner, touching every part.
May the angels' music in the air tonight comfort all your sorrow like a lullaby. May it blossom in you, fill your broken soul, ease your pain and sadness, make your spirit whole. May the peace of Christmas fill the world this night. Peace for every nation, peace in every life. Heal our inward strife, that war may cease on earth. Peace within us, with the Savior's birth. May the peace of Christmas fill our world this night. Peace for every nation, peace in every life. Heal our inward strife, that war may cease on earth. Peace be born within us, with the Savior's birth. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. In heavenly peace.
Good morning, St. Francis. It's good to be with you today. As we gather our hearts together in prayer, I'd like to invite you to ground yourself and feel your feet on the floor as best you can, and feel the chair or sofa or whatever you're sitting on. Feel that beneath you and perhaps behind you. Feel grounded to the earth and focus on your breath. Breathing in and out. Gather your thoughts and center your thoughts and begin to send love and light to those in our community who are in need of our prayers, of our attention, of healing and hope. Name them in your hearts and surround them in light. Connect to the breath, Spirit of God that moves in us and around us and between us, though we are apart, that connects us in beloved community. And let us gather our hearts together in prayer. Take flesh in our hands, O God, that they might cook meals that nourish, plant seeds that grow life, create art that inspires, touch tenderly bodies that ache. Take flesh in our feet, that wherever we may find ourselves, kitchen tables, altars, hospitals, prisons, bedrooms, sites of conflict, places of peace, places of isolation, that we will be rooted in the assurance of our power and possibilities. Take flesh in our voice, that we might call for the mighty to be torn from their thrones. Speak words of compassion and love, and whisper thank you to every source of beauty that upholds us. Take flesh in our gut, in our bones, in our deepest places of knowing, that we might listen to that which moves us without words, to the wisdom of feeling, to that which we have silenced by the tyranny of reason. Take flesh in our skin, our curves, our wrinkles, our scars, in every detail of these bodies, that we might begin to honor the holy we wear. Take flesh in our eyes, that we might weep, tears worthy of all that has been lost, all that has been taken, all that has been betrayed. Take flesh, O God, in our beating hearts, that we might keep fighting for collective life, that we might keep believing in divine possibilities, that we might keep loving despite our trembling, and that we might keep turning towards each other. O come, Emmanuel. Amen.
I believe there are angels among us, sent down to us from somewhere up above. They come to you and me in our darkest hour to show us how to live, to teach us how to give, to guide us with a light of love. I believe there are angels among us, sent down to us from somewhere up above. They come to you and me darkest hour, to show us how to live, to teach us how to give, to guide us with the light of love.
Comfort, oh, comfort my people, says your God. Speak tenderly to Jerusalem and cry to her that she has served her term, that her penalty is paid. A voice cries out, in the wilderness prepare the way of the Lord. Make a straight in the desert, a highway for our God. Every valley shall be lifted up, and every mountain and hill be made low. And uneven ground shall become level, and the rough places plain. Then the glory of God shall be revealed, and all the people shall see it together, for the mouth of God has spoken.
In his book on white fragility, Ibram Kendi gave some rules for helping us give feedback on racism. And the bad part is he gave two set of rules. One were what we typically tend to do, the you shouldn't do it this way rules, and then the rule of what to do. And the basic rule that oftentimes we as white people in America do is, don't give me feedback on my racism under any circumstances. Why? Because feedback makes us uneasy. It makes us unpeaceful. And so we often try to avoid it. Most of us would rather avoid it. We've been taught to avoid it. And even if we do receive feedback, he says, there are things that we want to say, here's how you have to do it. Give it to me calmly. Give it to me immediately after, or it becomes invalid. Give it to me in a way that is comfortable for me. What he's trying to point out is that human interaction is almost by definition disruptive and unpeaceful. And so we try to control it, but it is almost impossible to control. Partially because we come from such different backgrounds, experiences, educations, value systems, our religion, our work, our families, all hold up certain things as normative, perfect, if you will, and then we meet each other. Or should I say we run into, crash into each other. For when you hold up something as definitive and normative, equally normative as that to which I cling, letting go is not my first instinct. When you hold up something that seems to question my something, I don't want to let go. I do think about letting go, but it's typically I want you to let go, not me. And yet there you sit, holding on to your universal truth, sometimes as doggedly and determinedly as what I do. Even though, of course, yours is much inferior to mine, still you hold on to it. Think about some of those things that seem to pop up this time of year, every year. We have people who scream about the war on Christmas, holding that up as a norm, a truth that is there. We have other people who have opinions about when you should begin to put up your Christmas ornaments or play Christmas music, and there's some pretty strongly held opinions about that. Or even in liturgical circles, we like to argue about how people start celebrating Christmas in a season that's supposed to be Advent. Except for lately, some of those minor issues seem to become life or death type of issues with much more gravity than what they should have. Not just around Christmas, but around life in general. On CBS Sunday Morning, which I get to watch these days because I'm not up here for a 7:45 service, they did a story this last week on pet peeves. And the commentator, Dr. John LaPook, said, do we share them too much? And he goes through this thing where he talks about one of his pet peeves, and he said, I blew off some steam about something that means absolutely nothing in the greater scheme of things. Our pet peeves, he says, quietly let us vent about something without ruining somebody else's days. So embrace your pet peeves, but don't let them bite anyone else. You see that last line? That's what we have been doing way too much, I feel like. And we've been biting each other, bothering each other, hurting each other. But that's because there's a basic question. Which things in the world around us are pet peeves, and which are deeper and more important? The tough part about that question is if we look back at our call to awareness, Pema Chodron seems to imply that it may not matter. She says that we have to be brave enough to soften what is rigid in our hearts, not looking about whether or not that something is more important or less important. It's about the rigidity of us and the softness we need in each other, for each other. That is what will bring peace. What is it that is rigid in you, and what has been growing in that rigidity because of this time that we are spending in isolation? I saw an amazing graphic. Look at this. It's titled The Isolation Well-Being, and it has a series of checklists, things that maybe we sometimes forget, like shower, medication, drink water. But it also has some tasks that we need to do to be able to soften ourselves, to cleanse ourselves. And sometimes it's things like cleaning something else, clean one space, tend to something that's growing or living. But it's also those things where we sit in a space and remember. Be mindfully present, she says, to a song or a sound, a sensory feeling, something you see, or a spiritual practice. In the midst of the isolation that you are going through, what are you doing to bring peace to yourself? How is it that you are doing one thing that will make you glad later, as she puts on her checklist? How is it that you are intentionally seeking peace in the midst of all this? This internal releasing helps to bring peace, and we need to release things, because holding on to them puts tension not just in our shoulders, but in our hearts and in our spirits. I saw an interview where they asked a successful woman to share her secret of life. And she said, I started succeeding when I started leaving small fights for small fighters. I stopped fighting with my in-laws. I stopped fighting for attention. I stopped fighting to meet people's expectation of me. I stopped fighting for my rights with inconsiderate people. I stopped fighting to please everyone. I stopped fighting to prove they were wrong about me. I left such fights for those who have nothing else to fight. That sense of releasing, that sense of not having to take care of every single issue, every single problem, of fixing every single person, is an important way that we find peace. Ibram Kendi, as he talked about giving feedback, said, here's what we should really do. If someone looks at you and gives you feedback about racism or about whatever, he said you should say thanks and move on. Receive it. Use it if you can. Release it if you need to. But just say thanks. That can be easier said than done, can't it? Because sometimes the feedback people give instantly makes us want to fight back. Because things can be so inculcated within us that we forget to question why it is that we are not peaceful. Let me give you an example. One of the grand phrases of this time of year was spoken by an angel to the shepherds in their fields. And they said, peace on earth goodwill to all the world. Except that's not the way most of us learned it, wasn't it? It didn't say to all the world, it said to men. And it assumed that if I, as a white male, had it, that it would extend to all gender identities, all races. As a white male, straight American, I have spaces of privilege, spaces of power that are not universal. But because it's comforting and inclusive for me, I often perpetuate the myth without even realizing, because I have the convenience of not having to think about the cost that it might be for someone else. But luckily, we're beginning to change that. We're beginning to know that we can't just say goodwill just to men, but that all of us need that peace and goodwill across all the different lines that we draw so easily. Thomas Jefferson, our third president, had a secret his whole life. He was essentially married to a woman named Sally Hemings. Sally Hemings was one of his slaves. She bore 6 children from him. But look at this painting. I just love it. As the canvas holding Thomas Jefferson is peeled back and she emerges from behind his shadow. He had the convenience of not having to recognize her, of being able to hide her, but she deserved to be seen. She deserves to be known. Maya Angelou, in her remarkable poem that was read this morning by Wynne, said, "We, this people on this minuscule and kithless globe, who reach daily for the bomb, the blade, the dagger, yet who petition in the dark for tokens of peace." We have so much that divides us, that makes it so that we easily grab that blade. We easily need that bomb, that dagger, to be able to protect ourselves from each other. And yet every person I know is seeking for peace. How do I, Thomas Jefferson, give that to Sally Hemings? How do I, as a white male, open myself up to how someone else might need peace in a way that I don't, in a way that I take for granted? As the baby comes into our lives, the cost of that baby is high, and we don't even realize it when we start down that path. As much as we think about how difficult, challenging, costly it will be, sometimes it continues to surprise us. And I'm afraid I, as a father, didn't always count the cost that it would be to their mother. I don't think I'm atypical in that, to my regret. We should be thinking in each moment, what is the cost not just to me, but to the others around me? Where is it that I enjoy a convenience at someone else's expense? During this time, we're trying to raise a beloved community. Not just at St. Francis, who has been an amazing model of what beloved community can be, but we need a much larger beloved community than just that. We need to be the angels that fly out into our world and make this whole world a community of love, not just from God to us or us to God, but also the love that flows between us. Does your neighbor know that they are loved? Do all your family members on a regular basis, as they step on your toes in the midst of isolation, do they know of your love? Or are they, like most of us, sometimes doubting of that? How do we make that love be a part of the practice of who we are, especially in the midst of the difficult times? To do that, we have to care not just about what brings peace to me, but what brings peace to that other person as well. I have to be open to their needs and their struggles, and where it is that there is a cost to bringing peace to not just myself, but to all of us. And I have to be willing and eager to pay that cost. And the expenses can be financial or religious or emotional or political or any number of other factors that stand in the path in front of us, standing as obstacles in our journey towards true peace. But a peace that is only mine is not really true peace. This third meme points that out to us. If you cannot find Christ in the beggar at the church door, you will never find him in the chalice. If I walk past the pain of someone else in order to try to find my peace, I will never find true peace. I have to step into their lives because their peace is as important to me as my own. The first piece, says Black Elk, which is most important, is that which comes within the souls of people when they realize their relationship, their oneness with the universe and all its powers, and when they realize that at the center of the universe dwells the Great Spirit, and that this center is really everywhere. It is within each of us. When that other in my life is not peaceful, I cannot truly find the one who is at peace with all of us. We have to work on the peace between us if we are going to have the peace within us. True peace is a joint process. A project, if you will, that we all must work on together. We have to choose to listen to, no, in truth, to relate to each other, where that which is unpeaceful for you becomes a concern for me, and vice versa. So that instead of battling with you, I partner with you to discover how is it that we help whatever is unpeaceful within us and around us. And our swords, as Isaiah says, are turned into plowshares, tools with which we make each other's lives easier. Not perfect, but more productive and more what they should be, more fulfilling. Isaiah 40, that Mike read so wonderfully, about comforting my people, has this line that says, "Make straight in the desert a highway for our God." And I've driven on a highway here in the deserts of Arizona. Highway 8 going towards Yuma is a nice, straight, flat road, easy to drive, because someone has chosen to fill in the little valleys, go through the washes, help it to be an easier drive for me to be able to get to where I'm going. And that's that same type of thing that we need to do for each other. We need to see what is unpeaceful, what is rough in someone else's life, and begin to work to do something about it. Maya Angelou goes on in her poem to say, when we come to it, which is an amazing line, we have to begin realizing this, because we often, as the white male in America forgets racial issues, as the man forgets feminist issues, as the American forgets global issues, we often forget to see. But when we come to it, she says, we must confess that we are the possible, we are the miraculous, we are the true wonder of this world. That is when and only when we come to it. See, we must recognize that in each one of us is the power to bring peace to this world. But it can't be just my peace. It has to be our peace. Do I continue to look and see something wrong about that other person? Do I continue to try to fix them? Or do I open myself up to the miraculous possibilities within that person? During this time of new birth, of formulating the beloved community, we have to ask ourselves, what around us, might need our help. I have several suggestions for you. I told you earlier that John is going to be waiting in the parking lot to pick up your supplies for Pa's Cafe. And you have done a great job being able to help Tihan and support Tihan and move that amazing ministry forward. We are in charge of this month's Pa's Cafe, and it takes about $300. I need you to donate some money to be able to make that happen so that the food that is given out is paid for. I saw another thing this week from the city of Tucson. The city of Tucson is holding a coat and blanket drive, and in my trunk there is a bag of coats that I picked up at a neighborhood school, and I am bringing that down. What coats do you have around you? What can you donate that way? What extra blankets do you have that maybe someone on the street needs more than you do? How can you take some of what you have to help them have a warmer life? ICS, as they do every year, is amazingly powerful in helping people. Their Gifts of Love program is sponsoring families, and that drive is almost up. So if you will this week, go online to the ICS website and look for Gifts of Love. They are asking, they are needing your love, your peace, to be able to bring something to someone else. Someone who this year is not certain that there will be enough, and so their souls are in turmoil. And that donation you give, that sponsorship of a family, can change that. PCIC is looking towards what they're calling the eviction tsunami that is ahead of us. That which is telling us that in the midst of all of these layoffs, these times of not working, who will not be able to keep their house? And in the near future, the moratorium that was there on evictions is coming due. And PCIC is going to work to reverse that, to make it so we give more time. But it won't change the thing just alone. We also will need to be present in the lives of those who can and maybe will be evicted. What do we do to help those most vulnerable in our community? All of those types of programs, whether it's Pa's Cafe or Interfaith Community Services or PCIC, all of those are ways that we can be present for each other, that we can help the peace of our community, that we need to help the peace of our community, because I have a safe house, a warm space, a loving environment around me, doesn't mean that peace is in our community. If I don't work for that, the peace that is here will soon erode. TLS sang that amazing song, Breath of the Spirit, where they sang that what we want is so that all that is left inside of me is a heart that is pure, with a strength to endure and a faith to believe. I have to pull down my stuff so that I see your stuff and live in that space of divinity between us. There's an amazing tale from the Hasidic tradition of a man going to a rabbi, and the rabbi asked them, how can we determine the hour of dawn when the night ends and the day begins? And the different students suggest different things. Well, when we can distinguish between a dog and a sheep, or when we can distinguish between a fig tree and a grapevine. And the rabbi continues to say, no, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. Well, what is it then? It says the difference between night and day, when night ends and day begins, is when you have enough light in you to recognize your brother or your sister. Until that day that we recognize each other as siblings, darkness is still with us. If we want peace, we must seek peace for all around us. If we want to be peacemakers, It is not the making of my peace, but the making of their peace and our peace. Amen. I think it's interesting what I have for bread here today, because we have a broken loaf, a sliced loaf, and we often come together as individual slices. But Jesus still calls us one loaf. Even as we break the loaf and give it to each other, we continue to be one. Do we remember that? Do we, in the midst of things, still see each other separate and unimportant? Or do we come together and become that one loaf again? Do we become that one cup that gives all of us strength and continues to be a blessing to each of us? Come and eat. Come and drink. God calls us into oneness. God calls us into peace.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to me. With God our Creator, children all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
We started off the day by seeing the Baron Gaffords, Evan and Willa and their parents, along with Les Kirk, lighting our candle, helping us to know that we are part of a greater community. We end it by listening to one of Cynthia's poems. It's called Journey to the Manger. Take this as your benediction. No matter how routine our paths or how carefully crafted our schedules, no matter the depth of our study or how simple our lifestyles, we might find ourselves like Mary, Zechariah, Joseph, or those shepherds counting and caring for sheep, awestruck by God. Without warning, we listen in the silence or sing words and melodies that declare our openness to possibilities we never knew existed. We discover that we are awake to the journey into uncharted territory, pregnant with hope, no matter our gender or age. Slowly, we become harbingers of love who trust the holy mystery as we welcome the child in the manger. Go, bring peace to this world and announce that a child, a beloved community, is coming. Amen.
One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. Hear the children crying. One love. Hear the children crying. One heart. Give thanks and praise praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright. People get ready, there's a train a-comin'. One love. You don't need no baggage, you just get on board. One heart. All you need is faith to hear those diesels humming. You don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. As it was in the beginning, one love, so shall it be in the end. One heart. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright. People get ready for a train to Jordan. One love. Picking up passengers from coast to coast. One heart. Faith is the key. Open the doors and board them. There's room for all among the love and lost. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. One love, one heart. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. One love, one heart. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright.